Earlier this morning, Vladmir Putin said Russia would fulfill its commitments to supply natural gas to Europe. Sounds like an optimistic headline, but there's still a lot of questions around what happens tomorrow with the Nord Stream pipeline that goes from Russia to Germany. And Brian Sullivan is in Germany, supposedly. Look, a green screen to me. He's there with that story and why it matters to Europe and the world. We wouldn't say it if you weren't, but think how much money we could save if we just did a green screen.
Well, I could tell you that I'm not in a green screen because when you see me sweating here at the Schmeecast, there's a heat wave here in Germany. That's 1,700 degrees, Joe, and we're not that far from it. So I'm going to drop some pounds on this trip. All right, let's talk about what exactly is going on. Why tomorrow matters so much. Tomorrow is the day the Nord Stream 1 pipeline from Russia to Germany is hopefully expected to resume its flow of natural gas. Been shut down for 9 days. 10 days of maintenance would be tomorrow. Putin making some contradictory comments, shall we say, overnight in Iran, saying they want to fulfill their contracts, but maybe the pipeline still has some maintenance problems. He's basically keeping Germany and Europe on the edge and worrying them about natural gas flows. If the Nord Stream pipeline does not turn back on tomorrow or is delayed for some time, what is likely to happen? Europe, or Germany in particular, is likely to enter what they call stage 3 or phase 3 of their EU emergency plan. They're in stage 2 now. What does that mean? Well, the emergency plan means they immediately begin to ratchet back industry and ration gas. In other words, the German government is going to go company by company, industry by industry, like this steel mill, and say, you have to close, you can stay open. We need to save gas for hospitals and heating homes into winter. This is truly a choice, perhaps down the road, between business, heating, and eating. We interviewed former Secretary of Energy Dan Brouillette recently, and he's now working for Semper Energy, so he is selling natural gas, U.S. natural gas to Europe. But here's how he laid it out. Listen.
The decisions are going to be between keeping the lights on and keeping the heat on, one or the other. They will not have enough gas to do both. And that's a real challenge for policymakers, but a heartbreaking situation for consumers as well.
And Joe, this is a market story as well. Markets rallied yesterday. I am convinced part of it at least was on the fact that there was a pressure test done. A little bit of gas did flow through the Nord Stream. Here's what Wall Street is saying, if you don't believe me. Deutsche Bank, expect the rationing of gas, if it happens, leading to a German GDP slump of 5 and 6% next year. UBS, if no gas flows, market stock 600, the European markets fall 20% or more. BNP Paribas agrees, and there's also a credit issue, JP Morgan Chase. The moves in European corporate bond spreads would be bigger than the first wave of COVID. I want that to sink in, Joe. JP Morgan Chase, that if we get no gas, it could be a bigger credit event than the lockdowns and the first wave of the pandemic. It's not fear-mongering. It's a real story, and it really all plays out in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.